The battle was brutal, yet in the end, the combined strength of Ethelfrid and Ubaid shattered the enemy lines and secured a decisive victory over the mercenary Shaptun. Ubaid's courage on the field became legend, so much so that the king himself vowed he and his master would always be honored as friends of Galicia. Back in the court of Santiago, news of the triumph spread like wildfire. For the first time in days, Garcia could breathe freely. A great feast was held in celebration. That night, an unexpected guest crossed the threshold of the hall, none other than Alfonso, Garcia's dethroned older brother. But something had changed in him. He seemed lighter, more animated, radiant even. The brother spoke at length, reconnecting over shared wine and old memories. When asked about his hardship and current state, Alfonso offered only a calm smile and said that he felt free. Perhaps the crown of Leon had weighed on him as heavily as the crown of Galicia did on Garcia. Still, emboldened by the fresh victory and the fire stirring in his chest, Garcia knew one thing for certain. The time had come to don his armor once more and ride at the head of Galicia's armies. And we are back, finally seeing some success from our string of losses and defeats, misfortunes, plagues, and whatnot. Now we finally got a win. Even if our allies carried us, you know, it is what it is. So in the last episode we finished up with winning this battle. Now let's let it roll. Now the first thing I want to do is I'm going to move over here and switch the commander. I think I want to lead the men myself this time again. Let's make it a bit faster. Ah, Viking cheese. What's with Garcian food, man? I stop at the roadside stall selling some simple foods. The trader, Beatrice, plies me with different wares before reaching below the stall and bringing out a carved wooden box. For you, my liege, this is the finest cheese in all the realm. She pushes the small block into my hand, leans in and whispers, "It was crafted by cheese-making Vikings here in Iberia. Despite the bizarre comment, the cheese is incredibly good. I must find these cheese Vikings." I think this might lead to some sort of an investment, let's see. And here we will take over control ourselves. Now, I just wanted to mention I did one thing off camera and I just noticed it. I forbade my council members from acting as knights because I think Crusader Wars makes battles a lot more dangerous and these guys have been dying a lot, so let's just try to keep these ones alive, especially Sancho. So they will stay at home and lead the realm. I will just fix my control real quick in this and then we will go back to organizing the army. Sancho, I think for now he will be collecting taxes. Actually we can't afford that now. Now we need to start sieging. Viking cheese. A scrawny looking man is brought before me, however the pathetic man in front of me barely looks like a cheesemaker, let alone a Viking, so it's a scam. I'm truly sorry, but I'm not really a Viking, you're just a lie to help with selling the cheese. Oh well, at least I solved the mystery. I want half your profits and half your cheese. A strange way to finance the war, but okay. Let's just see what it gives. Attraction, opinion, small boost. I think I had a mod to sell it. We are financing our war with cheese. Now this here is some kind of a special settlement, Lugo. I'm really curious if I could transform it into a castle and maybe make it my capital, because the model of the wall looks really cool, but we'll see. So my plan for now is they will definitely regroup and our ally can leave at any moment, so for now I will siege down slowly, make my way down. And if they happen to gather another army, which they are doing, then we'll finish them off. I think we can do good with getting some prisoners also. Let's try to catch this guy. We won't do it. Paying for war. Here we go again. Wars are expensive. Let's risk it again. Efficiently supplied army is good. We will siege down the county. My dear cousin. So our cousin of Aragon. Again Sancho. Very popular name. Alongside this letter you will find the severed head of one of the thieves that has been running amok in both of our realms. I have taken the liberty of executing him and informing your garrison in Santiago of the location in which his accomplices lie. The control level will change. Good. Now I think this is a good opportunity to introduce the other side of the family. We talked about the three brothers Sancho, Garcia and Alfonso in episode 1, but now I think it would be a good opportunity to introduce their cousin, Sancho Ramirez. Now, in order to understand better the political situation of this region here, we need to go way back. Now, we are not going to look at his father, we are going to look at his grandfather. Now, ignore the name Anzo, his real name is also Sancho, so King Sancho III, also called the Great like his son Ferdinand, Fernando or Ferdinand, you can see both. But, so, King Fernando, he is the father of our characters we've been following so far, Sancho, Alfonso and Garcia, the one we are playing with. But King Sancho the Great, he was the king of another kingdom, not Navarra. At the time it was called Pamplona, I think, is the pronunciation. But he was the king of this kingdom, but he also owned the county of Aragon. Now, he had an illegitimate son, and he legitimized him. This is King Sancho's father. He inherited the county of Aragon and later passed it on to his son. So this character, King Sancho, he is actually the second king of Aragon. His father was the first king, though his father never used his royal status, meaning he never referred to himself as king. And in the beginning, this Sancho followed the same exact rule. He never used his royal title. Now, when does he become king? King Sancho becomes king in 1063 AD. So, when you start the game, you're already 3 years into his reign. You're probably already noticing there are a lot of Sanchos running around in this period, and trust me, it's about to get worse. Because the first major event, I would say, in his life was the War of Three Sanchos, which happens in 1067. So 1067. Now, I will put the years on the screen so you can follow the events, but I just want to make one thing clear. This is basically like the prequel of the history we followed in episode 1. To give you an example, Garcia's kingdom Galicia is invaded by his brothers in 1071. So 1071, Garcia loses his kingdom to his two brothers. So we are following the history way early. So what happens in 1067? Now, of course the dispute is over land, and the conflict is between King Sancho of Castile. We already know him all too well, he defeated us. And the other Sancho, who in the game is called Anzo, but he is actually King Sancho IV of Navarra. So these two have a bit of a clash over land. Now, the map is not represented very well, but the territory in question should be located around here, I think, in this region. The only real place I found was the city of Alava. This was the only place I could find on the map in Crusader Kings. So, in 1067, this Sancho of Castile, he declares war on King Sancho IV of Navarra. You can see they're of the same dynasty. What does this guy do? Now he knows he can't win on his own, so he sends word to his cousin King Sancho of Aragon and asks for his help. He agrees, however, this is not enough. Sancho of Castile defeats them in battle and takes all this land here. Now, the War of Three Sanchos is very popular. There's even a board game I managed to find. I'll put a picture. The War of Three Sanchos lasts from 1067 to 1068, so it only lasts a year. It's a short conflict. I'm not surprised the developers didn't really want to cover it, and they changed the names, which I suspect they also had an issue with too many Sanchos in the region. You know, Sancho, Sancho, Sancho. It can get a bit confusing. So this is the War of Three Sanchos. Sancho of Castile wins and takes this land. He starts with it in 1066. If you begin playing with Sancho of Castile, he already has the land that he takes in the War of Three Sanchos, so there are changes in Crusader Kings. For the next year, the events of the history we covered in episode 1 play out, you know, between the three brothers. And the next big point, this Sancho's history, the Sancho of Aragon, is when in 1076 Sancho IV of Navarra, he is murdered by his siblings, and you can see he has a lot of siblings, a lot of brothers, sisters, so they kill him. And at this time he has a young son. The son's name is Garcia. You know, here we go again. You know, England has their Henrys and Edwards. I guess Spain has its Alfonso, Sanchos, and Garcias. And Ferdinand. Ferdinand also popular name. So this guy is murdered. His son, however, he flees Navarra and he runs all the way to his relative Alfonso, who at this time is king. So Alfonso takes in the son of Sancho IV of Navarra and declares him king of Navarra. This, however, doesn't stand very well with the nobles of Navarra. So what do? They don't want to live under the influence of Alfonso. And let's face it, if they allowed Alfonso to crown Garcia, the youngest son, he would be something like a puppet king, you know. He would call himself king, but he would do whatever Alfonso tells him to do. They reject this and instead have an election. And in this election, they elect Sancho of Aragon as the king of Navarra. So he becomes king of Navarra and Aragon. And this is the point where Sancho starts to refer to himself as king. You know, he starts to feel more independent, even though Aragon has been independent for a very long time. I suppose him and his father in their years decided not to antagonize, you know, because nobles of this time, especially royals, had the tendency to declare themselves rulers of land they didn't actually own, you know? Like how the kings of England often call themselves King of England and France. But you know, France already has a king, so always good until, let's say, the next big moment is in 1083, where he has some clashes in his southeastern borders with the Muslim rulers. I think he takes a town that should be located somewhere over here, but is not on the map of Crusader Kings. It's called Grouse. So after he takes this town, I suspect this provokes, now this wasn't mentioned, but I suspect this was the case, this provokes the Muslim typhus, because a year later they hire none other than our little friend Rodrigo. So you probably are familiar with him by now. In 1084 the Muslims hire Rodrigo and they plan to have like a 6-day raid in Sancho's territory. They start this raid and Sancho decides to confront El Cid. The two of them have a battle, the Battle of Morella. Now El Cid in this case comes out as the victor, so Sancho is defeated by Rodrigo. Now there was something interesting I read which was not confirmed. There is one source that at a later date Sancho sought out El Cid and confronted him again and defeated him. But the only source that says this is written 300 years after the fact, so it's not reliable. And the next big event of Sancho's rule, so to speak, is his death. So he is killed during the siege of Huesca, which is again somewhere here, but I couldn't find it. Against the Moors. Sancho is the one doing the sieging. He tries to take back the city, but as he goes to inspect the siege ramparts and how the efforts are going, he is shot by an arrow and killed. Now our archers are slowly gathering. I think we can get the armored footmen this time. We really need some decent infantry. And another perk, fearful. Let's get the taxman, because our guy is doing this right now. Collect taxes. We don't have anyone good for it though. Let's see the details of what happened, and I want to see how our special knight did. Not good. Anyway. I didn't expect him to, you know, we didn't do much fighting ourselves. I think I played around with the settings that have to do with attrition when you're charging through enemy territories. Oh, this is not good. We need to return. Our ally left. They might return, but it's good for now to regain a bit of troops. And I will try to raise over here. I will try to catch one of them. Let's see how it goes. Now march. We will control. I'm fairly certain we could potentially win. They do have a lot of archers. Like a lot of archers, which I'm not sure we can counter them. Oh. Let's have our wife assist in Marshall. Why is he returning? Ah, he has a rebellion. This is one thing I like lately. I'm noticing that the AI is not blindly trying to win your wars. It will prioritize itself over you. Let's just try to get as many men as we can get. Can we get a mercenary? Not a chance. We have full pikemen, full archers, full horses. Our army is decent, perhaps we can win, let's see. Now we can fight 1,000 versus... I think this will be good, let's try. In this battle I was excited to show it because I think it's a good example of what not to do and how not to panic.
Don't forget that your units have a range of abilities.
So in the beginning I was feeling very good about myself, you know, I had my CAF advantage, I had my elite archers. I was confident that I could just hide in this tree line and neglect the archer fire. Which, funny enough, was true, but I will show you what went wrong. So here I will set up my line, and in a second I will start moving my CAF to the right flank. Simply because I figured the opening was better there. Now here I had a very good defensive position, you know, I had the hill, I had the forest. Perfect to counter CAF and archers. Now here it comes, I started taking volleys. At this point I wasn't worried at all. You can see I'm kinda relaxing with my cav unit. My idea was to wait for the enemy to waste its cav and I could pick them one by one with my archers. In a second I will start to panic hard and I will tell you why I misunderstood it at the time. I want you to keep track on my medium swordsman. Now do you see what's happening? What really was going on here was that the swordsmen were fighting Cap and they were losing badly, but I misunderstood this and thought that they were suffering heavy archer fire, so I went into full panic mode and started rushing forward, not just with my cap but my entire army. Here I'm just like in full panic mode and I'm thinking I have to charge, and this is what happens. And here comes my other mistake. In my desire to scare off the archers, because this is actually a good tactic to keep them from firing, you just chase them. But I end up overusing my general. And in a moment, all their archers will let out a volley at him. And this happens while I'm busy managing my infantry. Now here the archers are just decimating my general. This was the same mistake I made in the first battle. I overused my general and my knight unit, but at the very least here I managed to get a good charge at the flank. And at this point, in my mind, I'm in full survivor mode, but here is where I started thinking that I will win for sure. When my cav started chasing the archers, now I was feeling very secure. I had my infantry, most of it. But look what happened. A single volley from all the archers and my entire unit is gone. They will run away. And I'm back at square one. I have to catch them again. So I kinda sent my heavy swordsman on this long jog to catch the archers, you know, which wasn't very practical, but it will pay off, you will see. The unit I was most surprised by in this battle were my man-at-arms archers. They did really well, really well. I didn't expect Spain to have such strong archers, but they do. Now it's smooth sailing from here, I would say. Yes, my cav unit was depleted, but I managed to catch them anyway. And in a moment my own archers will turn to fire at their archers and you will see the kind of damage they do. Just I want you to look at the single volley on the enemy unit.
The men have thrown down their weapons and are fleeing!
Look what happens. It just melted them completely. Now it comes time for the enemy's last desperate attempt at a charge, but I managed to catch it on time. I just turned my spearman. I was not happy at all with this battle, let me tell you. When I first played it, I hated it because I lost most of my army. It was an undecisive victory, I would say. I didn't destroy their army, but at the same time I didn't lose all of my army, so another fight was inevitable in my mind. It was a close battle, but we won. Now this is going to be a bit tough. Our ally is still wrapping up his war with the rebels. So maybe what we need to do is catch the survivors and try to finish them off. Let's make it just lower. We don't have a lot of cav left. Our knights are okay for now. But we really need a court physician. We can't deal with these injuries anymore. And we are going to ransom this guy. Let's catch these. Court physician, okay. So we have a choice. She's a bit old. I think decent. Good aptitude for up. We don't have much of a choice. We'll give the gold. Excellent work. Okay, so now we are a bit safer. I really need to hire proper cav at this point. I keep risking the general too much and my knights. You see that? Our... oh, he's alive, but brutally mauled. Not good. He will be a substitute for now. Let's see if he survives. I hope he does, that one. Let's move to the capital of Duke Nuno. Oh, he's here. If they start approaching me, I will back away. Or I will try to fight them. We have archers, levies, but everything else is decimated. Let's make it a bit quicker. I can't move around here because I'll get a lot of attrition, and we can't afford it right now. So I'll try to siege down and maybe it will be enough to win. We need to run away. Oh, so we managed to trigger the battle before these other guys arrive. I'm just not sure if this is a bit cheap, you know, because under normal circumstances they would reunite the two armies. Okay. Let's give it a go, see what happens. Last time I showed you what not to do, not to panic, to stick to the plan. but in this battle I think this is a very good example of what to do and how to handle a very archer heavy army when they are on the defensive. Just to explain briefly what happened before the battle and what my conundrum was about, I was debating whether I should fight the two forces separately, but in the end I figured that it would be unfair, because in any normal situation the two armies would reunite with each other and support. But here I instantly set all my infantry to loose formation. I was planning just to rush ahead and give them as little as time possible at firing. One thing I will say about these battles is it is a problem, the fact that Crusader Wars doesn't allow you to record battle replays. I think this is one of the main reasons why a lot of YouTubers don't play with the mod. Because I think the general consensus is, you know, the viewer wants to see the cinematic shots, they want to see the close-ups of the fights, and it's very difficult to show when you're playing, simply because you're trying to win. I am hoping that in the future we will have fights where we can afford to have these kind of shots. We will have them, especially if I have the AI controlling my troops, which I think I will start to resort to more, even in battles where I'm playing. Not that I will hand over full control, but I will let the AI assist me with micromanaging. Just so we can have more of these shots, you know. Another problem I noticed is this stuttering that always happens. I can't figure out why. I have a couple of suspicions, but I do plan on fixing that. Now at this point in the battle I'm just kinda searching for the best spot to advance. The enemy is in a decent position, they are surrounded by traps that affect both infantry and cav. On the left flank of the enemy, their left, they have cav spikes, that's why I moved to their right. So I plan on going around all the traps with my cav from this position, and maybe catching the archers off guard. This was it. The only danger in this battle was their archers, because if they decided to fire focus any of my units, they would instantly melt them. No, here I'm moving my mouse around rapidly because I was having some trouble with the recordings. The video recording for all the battle was working, but for some reason the sound of me talking was shutting off because the program was crashing, so I'm kinda talking over what happened. I don't prefer to do it. It's a lot less natural. You're kinda forcing yourself to talk. I vividly remember that I was planning to use the superiority of my own archers to draw out their army. If you're familiar with Total War in general, the person with range superiority, he's the one that dictates the battle, how it goes. So I was hoping to outrange them and have them do something stupid. But my plan never really changed, I was still going to attack them anyway. Just something to try. And the thing with the battle replays, it actually bothered me so much that I went on the Discord of the mod and started asking questions there. And unfortunately it's not possible. The mod creators, you know, they're brilliant guys for creating this, let's face it, the dream strategy game, but the main problem with the battle replays is that all battles of Crusader Wars are considered historical battles. And historical battles in Attila can be saved as battle replays. So we will never get battle replays. But it is what it is. Now, as soon as I rushed forward, I kinda relaxed a bit. I didn't take them seriously, not at all.
We're being ambushed.
And in this battle, again, the unit that shines the most is actually the archers again. They're the ones that do a lot of the work. What I think makes these sort of playthroughs work, you know, I notice it when I'm looking for good channels to watch myself. I think the most important part is making the viewer understand what's going on, especially with the characters. For me, one of my favorite YouTubers to watch is the Stray King. Does a lot of Game of Thrones mod stuff. But you know, the guy, he doesn't edit almost anything. But the idea for the cutscenes I took from him because I really like his cutscenes. But the thing about him is that he is really good at interacting with the AI, so to speak, to create some kind of a story. I think this is my favorite part, and I've always done it when I would play for myself, you know, I would always make up the stories in my head, what's going on, why is it going on, so one day I just figured why not try to make a video about it, which presented another challenge because I'm telling you, I was desperate to play this safe, like really, I wanted to play it constantly, but I couldn't allow myself to get that much ahead because I didn't want to be stuck editing for an entire week without playing. So I'm kinda imposing self-restraint on myself. I completely dismantled their army. This is a very good example how to handle such a force. Now we managed to do a very good job at this battle. However, let's stay here, let's finish the night. This will be easy. There. Victory, victory, victory. I think we earned our war, okay? The first battle doesn't matter. Remind me one day if he needs help, we need to pay him back somehow. Oh, and he's back again. Uber Eats is here. I think this is a wrap, they can't do anything more. I hope to capture now Duke Nuno and this is over. Oh, here, oh, look, it's like perfect. Duke Nuno is behind bars. Our wife is pregnant. This is great. And we win the war. I have been failing my way to success. And now it's going to pay off.
To the victor belongs the spoils.
Why don't you get the fuck out of here before I shove your quotations book up your fat fucking ass?
Enforced demand. Everyone is in prison now. And we gained a lot of legitimacy now. To the perceptive King Garcia of Galicia. Alongside this letter you will find the severed head of one of the thieves that has been running amok in both of our realms. I have taken the liberty of executing him and informing your garrison in Santiago of the location in which his accomplices lie. Very nice. Now we have a lot of things to do. Okay, so we will disband our troops. We can start to heal up. Let's see how are they doing, our knights. Oh, don't tell me he died. Ah. Sadly, our golden helm knight died again. But this guy, I hope he will survive. He's just wounded, so let's make him special. And what we need to do is create another knight, and I will show. Let's create the first. No. Let's see what kind of prisoners we got. We will ignore the two counts and the duke. You probably know this, but a quick tip, you know, if you're short on knights, prisoners are a very good way to fill your ranks, especially after a war. Now let's see what we got. This guy doesn't work. Not good. This guy is decent. Now demand conversion. We can't recruit him though. So let's leave him for now. This is the mercenary they hired to lead their troops. Shaptun. Let's find the good ones first. Pedro, here he is good one. Negotiate, recruit, gain weak food. Vela, not good. But he's young still. No. Error. Pile, this one is good. Now, I don't want to keep the children, so This is what we will do. I will take now the girl. She can go for free. We don't need her. Vela. Now Vela, we will recruit him and we will hand him over to our Golden Helm Knight for training and see what comes of him. We will do the same with him. Maybe they will become good knights. Now let's let them come. We will take our marshal. He will educate him. And Pedro. Let's hope they become good knights. Now let's mark them. Let's spin them for the future. What better man to train you, huh? Look at him. Now we are going to make another acclaimed knight and make him look cool. This guy Pio. Now manipulator, no. Valiant and Steward. We need Crusader Wars bonuses and these to give it. And do you see how much buffs it gives our knight unit? It gives 4 soldiers, 4 melee attack, 4 defense. This is great. Create. We will rename him. I think I have an idea. I saw an interesting helmet. There he is, our Calm Knight. Or Knight of the Calm, whatever you want. Now let's get to the good part. Let's take all their titles. Revoke. Just so. Revoke. Just so. Let's start to increase our control real quick. This place is really bad. Let's start to work on this. Now, the main event, Duke Nuno. Revoke everything. Unknown criminal. Can't I pick everything at once? No. Just so. Now, why is this an act of tyranny? So the first revocation was punishment enough according to everyone. Okay. I know I said I would fortune Sancho, but I think it's too early. We can use the 2 counties very well. Or is it 1 county? It's 1 county with 2 castles. Okay. Uh, who can we ransom? Diego and Vasco. No, I don't really care about them. And this is a lot of gold. You know what, we took their titles. I think for these two it's punishment enough. However, let's get the gold and we'll start to build. He's a wanderer now. He can go. His life is pretty much ruined. Same for this one, wandering. Now, our main event, what do we do with Duke Nuno? Now, let's not rush it here. Let's see if we have free building slots anywhere. Like here. Quarries. Now this is not a bad option for the future. For now I think we'll go cattle, pastures. Let's see our troops. We'll upgrade this one times for 300. And we will station them. Let's keep it to our lands. Because I haven't decided yet if I'm going to give this to Sancho. Now our army should be massive. Yes, 2000 men is the potential of our army. We'll start to recover it slowly, but at least now maybe we can compete with Sancho, depending on what vassals like him or not. He's fighting again, someone. I see. Now, our good doctor. She is a good doctor, that's true. My thoughtful personal physician is a true healer, always ready with some suitable remedy or poultice at the first murmurings of a courtier's mildest malady. Her talents seem almost wasted, stretched as she is treating the demanding denizens of the entire Galician court. It's a little hard to read. Yeah, I could do with some closer attention. My wife Cecilia could use your talents. Now we are very hurt, so I think we could use it ourselves. Our heir is not secure yet, and I think it's about time that the king holds his court. It's been long enough. So, gesture for the first in line to approach. Looking for work. A middle-aged man stands before me with quiet dignity before bowing deeply. Greetings, your majesty, I'm Manuel, your royal servant. I came before you today to seek employment in your court. I am an experienced fighter, having served the local lords and garrison of this my homeland. It would be my honor to put my talents to a greater cause in the service of my king. Now, so he is a fighter, a very good fighter, but he's old. Well, middle-aged, let's say. So we can take him as a bodyguard, a caravan master, or a court musician. Ambitious, just, and brave. I just really don't want to pay the extra gold, and I don't think anyone is out to get us at the moment. Except a particular individual in jail. Dust to dust. A thin, raggedy peasant stands before me, gawking at the opulence of my throne room. Obviously distracted, I call him to get his attention. Oh, I'm sorry, my lord. My village in Tuy was hit by a blight this year, that was true. We lost not only our crop, but our sea too. We had nothing, we shall starve without help. Glancing around my throne room again, he adds, surely you have well to spare. You will have the funds you need to rebuild. 50 gold. Your service will repay your debt. If the fields are barren, you shall wield a sword. A levy size plus 20%. Holding taxes, no. I think free labor is the best option. Okay. Oh, what is this? Oh, this is our ally's wife. What is happening? My lord, my name is Amira al-Umara, and I am an ambassador of your ally, Amir al-Umara Yahia. I bring you his friendly greetings and an offer. My liege values your friendship above all. So as a sign of goodwill, he sends you this child, his daughter Biliges, to educate as you please. My lord hopes that this gesture will strengthen your alliance and is confident that Bilgis will be in great hands. This is a great honor. He hates us, but I gladly accept your offer. Very well, Princess Bilgis. And she looks pretty good. 6 years old, already 3 diplomacy, 3 martial. Maybe something good will happen with her. Okay, we accept. And this is all for our court petitions. Court grandeur increased. Yes, here she is. Now what does she want to become? Intrigue and martial. Unpopular favorite. I'm still smiling at the joke my friend Sancho made at this morning's council session when Mayor Fronilde catches my arm. Leech, I've been meaning to talk to you. I understand you're close friends, but there are those who think you put him before more deserving counselors. Like who? You? A king may pick his own counsel. Duke Nuno wants to be ransomed, but unfortunately for him we have other plans. Garcia's halls were screaming for blood. Talks of hanging, beheadings, even the cruel punishment of mutilation were mentioned. Yet the king's conviction faltered. Something inside him stayed his hand and sealed his lips as his advisors demanded justice. That night the king summoned his 2 best knights, Ep.03 and Pio, and descended into the depths of Santiago castle, where the traitor was bound in chains. He sought a reason to spare the man's life, but in that The stubborn Duke was his own worst enemy. The only thing he expressed regret for was losing the war and ending up in this sorry state. At the very least, Nuno accepted his fate and called it well deserved. Seeing no other path, the king turned to prayer, making his case before the Lord. He begged for a sign, for guidance. Yet the temple walls remained still and silent. By first light, an unexpected visitor arrived at court. Loba Numes Vimaranes, Duke Nuno's only child, appeared at the gates. She was travel-worn but stood with unwavering poise. She did not come as a pleading daughter, but as a noble presenting herself to her sovereign. The king, tired from his sleepless night, felt a quiet clarity settle over him. No divine sign had appeared, yet the stillness in his chest spoke what words could not. Retribution might satisfy the court, but it would not mend the realm. She neither wept nor collapsed in grief as many had anticipated. She bowed once, deep and resolute. With the occasional tremor in her voice, she asked mercy for her father and vowed to restore her house's honor, regardless of the king's judgment. Later that day, Nuno Vimaranes the traitor was led through the city gates of Santiago by the acclaimed knights Ep.03 and Payo. A familiar figure awaited him there. The king had granted Loba one final farewell. Tears were shed, few words passed, but she assured him that all would be well. The king had named her the new Duchess of Coimbra and placed her on his council of advisors as the new spy master. Nuno could scarcely comprehend it. His punishment, however, stunned him more. He was to be exiled. Given a horse and enough provisions to last the journey, Nuno cast a final glance at his daughter before riding toward the border, never to return. The court would remember that day not as one of bloodshed, but of the king's mercy.